Guys, thanks for tuning in today. I wanted to film this Galaxy Skull makeup tutorial for you. It had been one of my most requested looks on Instagram to film. So yeah, if you're interested on seeing how I did this look, then just keep watching. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is just map out the shape for the nose. And I'm just using a really small paintbrush for this, and on with some black Mehron Paradise paint. And yeah, just kind of mapping out that shape. And I added a few little lines on the side just for some more detail. And then we're going to be going in to the center of that and just begin taking some eyeshadows, so mostly like blues and purples, and we're just going to place that down with a small brush. And all the shadows I'm using are from the Urban Decay Electric palette, the Kat Von D Vida Loca Remix palette, and then some Sugar Pill shadows. So yeah, just taking the blues and purples from those palettes. And then I'm going in with a little bit more of the black just to kind of fill it in on the edges a little bit. And then I'm taking some black eyeshadow and kind of blending out that paint a little bit. And then going in with a little bit more of the shadows just to make it pop a little bit more. And then here I'm just taking some white Paradise paint on the tiny brush. And I'm just starting to add some little dots for like the star effect. And then I'm also taking a white paintbrush and I'm doing a spattering effect, so it gives a really nice texture to it. And then here I'm going to begin to map out the shape that I want for the skeleton eyes. And again, I'm using the same black paint for this. And I mean, it doesn't matter if they're completely symmetrical because nobody is really going to notice. And then again, the same thing, I'm going to be randomly placing the blues and purple eyeshadows. So I'm using like a bright blue, a darker blue, a lighter purple, and then a darker purple. So I'm using about 4 different colors here. And this is the blue from the Electric palette, so I'm just placing that in random areas, and then I'm going in with one of the shades from the Kat Von D, but it's such a long name to say, the Kat Von D palette. I forget what shade it is, but I'll have all the shades I use down below. And I'm just placing that one on. I believe I'm using a NYX eyeshadow brush here. And then I'm going in with Poison Plum from Sugar Pill and just adding that in. Yeah, so basically we are just mapping out the shape for the skull, and then we are filling it in with the shadows. And then here I'm taking a small shader brush and I'm going to begin to place some black eyeshadow around the edge just to kind of blend out that paint line, so it's not like such a harsh line. And we're just going to go all the way around the eye. And then here we're doing the same spattering technique, but just with some black, just to add a little bit of texture there. And I love these brushes for doing paint spattering. They're a much more stiff brush, so you can spatter the paint really easily. You can just find them at any art store. And then here again, I'm taking that tiny paintbrush and I'm just outlining the eyes in a bit of white just so they stand out a little bit more. And I did do this with the nose as well. And then I wanted to do some shading around the eyes, so I'm taking the same small paintbrush but with some black, and I'm just going to draw a little line and then go in with some black eyeshadow on a little shader brush and then just kind of blend it out on the outer edge there. And I'm just going to kind of do this in a few spots around the eye. I'm not going to do the entire circle, just in about like 3 different areas. And then doing the same with the other eye. I thought it was kind of funny how well my hair matches this makeup look. I just got it done. Shout out to my amazing hairstylist. She kills it every single time. Alright, and then just kind of blending that out. And I'm so sorry if some parts of this video are a little bit out of focus. I will try and work on that, although I did work at staying in frame better, so I think I'm improving there. And then we're going to be going in with the same brush and just adding some little white dots for the stars and adding a few little star shapes. So I like to use the paintbrush to add the bigger kind of dots, and then I like to go in with the spattering paintbrush to add like the really tiny ones, and then it gives a really nice effect that way. And then I'm just going in with the black and adding some really thin little lines coming down from the eyes. I just like the effect that this gives. It adds a little bit more to it. You don't have to do this, but I kind of like the effect that it gives. And then I'm adding two thicker lines kind of in like the eyebrow area. And then I'm going in with more paint spattering. I wanted it to have a lot of texture in kind of the eyebrow area. And then I'm also taking the brush and kind of stippling on the paint a little bit. And then I am going like up onto the forehead a little bit. I will do paint spattering in almost every look that I create just because I love the texture that it gives. And then we are going in with the temple area, so we're just going to outline that. And this is by no means anatomically correct whatsoever, but I mean, we're going for a little bit more of a creative type skull, so don't worry too much about that. And then again, we're going in with the blues and the purple eyeshadows, just placing that randomly throughout. And then again, I am just taking some black shadow on the small shader brush and just going in and placing that down. Oh, just along the edge there. And then again, going in and adding some little star shapes and adding dots. And then even more paint spattering. I think you're getting the gist of it by now. And then here I'm taking, I think this is like a contouring brush from NYX. I just took some black eyeshadow on that, and I'm going in and shading, doing some shading at the hairline. Oh, and I did switch brushes here. This is just like a blending brush. But yeah, just adding some black along the forehead, just to give it a little bit of contour, add some depth. And then again, I'm doing the same little lines, a few of them coming down from the forehead. And for some reason I didn't get this part on camera, but I did also shade around the jawline with some black eyeshadow as well. Again, just to contour a little bit. And then I am starting to map out my teeth with some white Mehron Paradise paint. I kind of went for like a pointier shaped tooth. So yeah, I am just outlining them and then going and filling them in. And then while we wait for those to dry, we're just going to go in and map out like the cheekbone area. And I kind of wish that I had done a different shape for this, but I mean, oh well, can't be perfect. So yeah, I'm just mapping that out with some black paint, trying to get it as symmetrical as possible. And by now, I'm sure you know what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to go in with the same eyeshadows, place them in randomly around. Just kind of blending them together as I go. And then again, I am just doing some shading with some black eyeshadow and blending that in. And then just going in with my white paint again, adding those little dots and some star shapes, make it all nice and galaxy-like. And then of course going in and spattering some white paint. And I was feeling the song here, whatever I was listening to. And then I'm just going to go around the edge with that same tiny brush with some white paint. This just makes it stand out a little bit more. And then over top of the white, I'm just going in with some very thin black lines. Just in a few areas, but mainly at the front of the cheekbone jaw part thingy. And then I'm just kind of shading that a little bit with some eyeshadow. And then here, just up from that jaw part, I'm just adding some more little lines. I just like the detail that it gives. And then I wanted a little bit darker, kind of at the front of the brow area, so I just took some black shadow and then a little bit more paint spattering. I really want to know what I was listening to there. And then I'm just going to begin to outline the teeth. Just taking my time with this just to make sure it's very precise. Sorry, I was having a little bit of trouble with getting that angle there. It's hard for me to film teeth and stay in camera, apparently. And then just kind of on the lip area, I'm just shading it with a little bit of a black shadow just to darken up that area a wee bit. And then I'm also going to begin to outline the teeth just with a very, very thin black line. And then I'm also doing that along the bottom as well. And then I'm taking a little bit of black eyeshadow and then just shading that a little bit. And then I'm taking some eyeliner. I lined the top of my eyes with a liquid, and then I'm taking a black pencil to the bottom waterline and then onto the lashes a little bit. Then I did also apply false lashes, which I did not put on camera. And then for the chest part, I am just taking the same eyeshadows that we did use for the face, but I'm just adding them in large areas onto the chest, just kind of in random areas. You kind of want to spread the colors out. And I really like using eyeshadows for like doing the chest area when I just want like a color, when I'm not like actually painting anything. I just find that they give a kind of like an airbrushed look, and I just really like the effect that it gives. So yeah, just going in with some darker blue, lighter blue, and then a little bit of purple. Just filling in the areas I have left. But when you are using eyeshadow for the chest and neck area, you really want to make sure you put down a base, so preferably like a foundation or some type of cream paint or anything like that, something it's going to give the eyeshadows to stick to, or else they're just going to kind of fall off the skin and they're not going to be nearly as bright. So you want to make sure you lay that down first. And then I'm just going in with adding some star shapes and some dots. Okay, and next we're going to go in with some black Mehron Paradise paint on kind of a fluffy brush, and this is going to give the paint like a really nice texture to it. It's not going to be like entirely smooth, it's going to be kind of like a blotchy looking, and so I'm going to take this on the neck and then kind of onto the shoulders, and I just love the texture that this creates. And then I'm going to go in with some paint drips, so I just kind of water down the paint, and then wherever I want the paint drip to be, I just press down the brush, and then the paint drips down. So yeah, just adding those just kind of all across. And I just love paint drips. I don't know, something about them. And then here is the finished look. So here's the finished look. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'm going to have a lot more body painting videos coming up, so if there's a look you've seen me do on Instagram that you're interested in seeing me film, then just leave me a comment down below. And yeah, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Lots more videos coming. Follow me on Instagram if you'd like. I'll have that link down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!